Welcome to the Mental Edge Trading Psychology Podcast. I'm Sarah, a retired therapist turned trader who helps traders understand the neuroscience behind emotional trading. This podcast is about removing shame, understanding your nervous system, and building real confidence in the charts. And here's something I need you to understand right from the start. If you are struggling with emotions in trading, it has nothing to do with you being undisciplined or weak. It's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is the brain was designed for survival, not for trading, and trading triggers survival with every candlestick that happens, okay? So today we're going to talk about why you keep breaking your own rules even when you know better, why discipline doesn't seem to stick, and why fear keeps showing up when strategy should be. Because if you've ever felt like you're sabotaging yourself, like you don't have enough willpower, I want you to know that you are not alone, okay? Let me tell you the story of why I went down this rabbit hole in the first place. So a couple years ago, my husband was deployed, and I was sitting in the basement of our home in a foreign country, isolated, all alone. I knew absolutely nobody, okay? So I decided, well, I will channel that isolation into becoming a trader, and it's going to be great, right? I blew a funded account in 15 minutes, and I mean account after account. It was tough, all right? But with this specific account being blown, I had done everything right. I followed my plan, I was up for the day, and I should have closed the platform and walked away. But I took one more trade, and then another, and then another. Like, I knew what I needed to do, but something else inside of me needed to be right even more, needed to win, needed to prove that I could do this. And before I knew it, the account was gone. And I sat there in a dark basement, isolated and alone, staring at a red screen, feeling like the biggest failure on the planet. But instead of just feeling ashamed and moving on, I decided to get curious. I wanted to know why. Why did this keep happening? Why did I need to be right so badly that I was willing to risk everything I had in that account? And that moment is what sent me down a rabbit hole of psychology and neuroscience. I wanted to know why the few numbers on the screen could take over my brain like it was a life or death threat. And that's what I found, is that this isn't something that has to do with weakness. It's not flaw of who we are as people. It's natural human wiring. It's your nervous system interpreting certain trading moments as social or physical danger, because your brain, it can't tell the difference between a loss and a line attack. It can't tell the difference between being rejected by people and taking a loss in your P&L. But the same circuits that once protected you from being kicked out of the tribe or being attacked by a lion, those are now reacting the exact same way to the market swing. But the good news, once we understand this is happening, this is when we can start retraining it and fixing it, okay? So to begin, what is trading psychology? Trading psychology is the study of how your emotions, your thoughts, and your nervous system affect your trading decisions. And most traders, they think trading psychology is about having the right mindset, about being positive, about just trying harder and it'll be okay, right? But that's not it at all. Trading psychology is about understanding that your brain is running on software that was built thousands of years ago. And that software was not built for looking at charts. It was built for keeping you alive when danger showed up. And your brain, it has one main job: keep you safe, not make you successful. Keep you safe. And it will do whatever it takes to keep you safe, even if it means blowing your account to avoid the discomfort of holding a winning trade. So let me break down what's happening in your brain when you're trading, okay? First, you have your amygdala. This is your brain's fear center. It detects your threats, if they're real or not, and it triggers your fight or flight response. Then you have your prefrontal cortex. This is the logical thinking part of your brain. This is the part of the brain that makes plans, evaluates risks, and thinks long term. This is the good trader part of your brain, okay? And then you have your limbic system. This is your emotional, reactive, survival brain. And when you're regulated, when you're calm, the prefrontal cortex, your logical thinking brain, is in complete control. You can think clearly, follow your plan, make good decisions. This is why you can trade great on demo and not have a problem. But when you're not regulated, when you switch to live trading, this stresses you out. And when you feel stressed, when you feel scared, the limbic system takes over your brain. The amygdala hijacks everything going on. And now you're no longer trading with logic. You're trading from a survival mode, okay? And survival mode only has 4 gears: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight, it's going to look like overtrading, revenge trading, trying to win it back. Flight, it's going to look like avoiding your setups, skipping your trades, walking away after a red day. Freeze, it looks like staring at the charts, unable to pull the trigger, and not being able to make any decisions. While fawn, it looks like just following someone else's trades to avoid blame completely, okay? None of these are grounded, none of these are consistent, and none of these are going to make you money long term. And you think you're breaking your rules because you're undisciplined, but you cannot be disciplined when your nervous system is running the show. You can't out-discipline a dysregulated nervous system because it thinks it's in danger. And when it thinks it's in danger, it's not going to allow you to do anything logical. It's going to do what it takes to keep you alive, to get you back to safety. So that begs the question, why does your brain treat trading like a survival threat? let's talk about money for a second, okay? Money is not just paper. Money is not just numbers on a screen. Money in our brains equals safety. It equals survival, and it's our ability to take care of ourselves and the people we love. So when we lose it, we don't just fear the practical problems. We fear what it says about us. We fear being unsafe, feeling unworthy, feeling like we're unable to survive. And when you are in a losing trade, you start feeling your chest tightening, your heart racing, that tunnel vision. Your body feels like it's about to die. And it's because, in a very basic sense, your brain has linked financial loss with your life being in danger, okay? So let me walk you through what happens step by step when your emotions take over in a trade. First thing first, your amygdala is going to start detecting uncertainty, and that's going to trigger an alarm in your brain. That alarm is going to cause cortisol to flood your system and put your body in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And then when that happens, the prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of your brain, shuts down completely. Logical thinking goes away, and your emotions are going to be in complete control. When that happens, old habits take over, your brain goes back to what it knows, you're going to start trading emotionally, impulsively, make these bad decisions, and now your over trading and revenge trading kicks in, and you can't stop it, okay? And you start acting or not acting out of fear, not skill, because you have lost all control and you've blown your account completely. That is exactly step by step how your brain works when your emotions take over. And researchers have found that during financial decision making under risk, like in trading, when you're risking money, the amygdala lights up in proportion to the expected loss. So even when traders knew the odds, knew what they were risking, depending on how much risk that was, that's how much your fight or flight reacted, okay? That's how much danger the brain thought you were coming into. And this is why traders say, I knew what to do, I just couldn't do it. Because the knowledge that is stored in your prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of your brain, your emotions shut that part of your brain completely down, so you can't access what you know. It's not that you forgot, it's that your brain locked you out of the room where that information lives, and now you're just watching from the outside, looking in. Just, what are you doing? Just stop. Just don't do this. And you can't do it. You're like banging on the door. Get me out. Stop. Figure it out. And you can't, because you have been locked out and you cannot access that information. So let me introduce you to the 4 trader types, okay? There are 4 ways that your nervous system responds to threats in trading. First, you have fight. This is the person who overtrades, the revenge trades, the one who doubles down on risk when things go wrong. The fighter tries to force their way to being right because they need to win, they need control, and they will blow their accounts trying to get it and do whatever it takes to get that control. Next, you have flight, okay? This is the trader who closes early, avoids setups, walks away in shame after a red day, and when things get uncomfortable, the flighter runs. They protect themselves by not being in the game at all. And then thirdly, you have freeze. This is the trader who stares at the screen unable to act. The one who second guesses everything, who knows that what they should do, but they can't pull the trigger. The freezer gets stuck. They can't move forward. They can't move back. They're just frozen where they're at, okay? And lastly, you have the follower or the fawner. This is the trader who follows somebody else's calls completely, who needs somebody to tell them what to do and avoids responsibility by letting someone else make decisions for them. The follower or fawner doesn't trust themselves, so they hand control over to somebody else. So they have somebody to put the blame on when things go wrong, okay? Which one of these are you? Because most of us, we're a combination of these 4. Sometimes I'm a fighter, sometimes I'm a freezer. It just depends on the day, and it depends on what's going on in my life outside of trading, honestly. But here's the thing. None of these responses have anything to do with you. This is just, or anything you're doing wrong at all, okay? This is just your nervous system's way of trying to keep you safe. And the goal is not to get rid of them. The goal is to recognize them, to name them, and bring yourself back into a state of regulation so you can trade from clarity instead of survival. And here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this episode. Discipline is not a personality trait. Discipline is emotional regulation. You are not an undisciplined person. You are an emotionally dysregulated person, and you cannot out-discipline a dysregulated nervous system, okay? Most of us are trying to trade with a nervous system that is stuck in survival mode. And when your nervous system is in survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, disciplined, calm part of your brain, is completely offline. So no amount of trying harder is going to fix that. No amount of positive thinking is going to fix that. What fixes it is regulation. Learning how to bring your nervous system back into a state where your logical brain can actually function. And that's what this whole podcast is about. That's what the next episodes are going to teach you. We're going to talk about your window of tolerance, which is the sweet spot where you can think clearly. We'll talk about finish line freeze, which is why you sabotage right before you succeed. And we're going to talk about tools, techniques, and anything that we can use that actually works to regulate your nervous system in real time. Because the market's job is to be uncertain. That's its nature. We can't control that. But your job is to be the constant for yourself in the uncertainty. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to start paying attention, not to your trades, not to your P&L, but to your body. When you take a trade, what does your body do? Does your heart start racing? Does your stomach drop? Do your hands shake? Start noticing what's going on and bring that awareness to yourself, because awareness, that is the first step to change, because you can't regulate what you don't notice. And once you start noticing, you can start naming it. You can start recognizing when your nervous system is about to take over, and that's when you can start doing something about it, all right? The next couple episodes, we're going to jump into finish line freeze, and this is why you sabotage right before you succeed and what to do about it. But for now, just notice, just pay attention, and remember, you are a human being. You are not undisciplined. You are not weak. You are not lacking willpower. Your brain is just doing what it was designed to do, okay? And our job is to teach it a new way. That is how we become disciplined traders, all right? This is the Mental Edge Trading Psychology Podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'll see you next time.